Today on Public Eye News, how two special elections could change the balance of the Michigan House of Representatives, and later, a Delaware judge rules that Elon Musk cannot keep an egregious compensation package from Tesla.
Our very own forecaster Megan Tarcia will have your look at warming weather conditions across the Upper Peninsula, and Bodie Bates will have your look at your sports breakdown. I'm Melissa Santour.
And I'm Luke Niddle, and this is Public Eye News. The Michigan House of Representatives is facing the possibility of ending a year-long deadlock with two Democrats winning their respective districts. My Song, second-term commissioner, and Peter Herzberg, tenured Westland City Council member, each beat out a slew of other Democratic nominees and secured the party's nomination Tuesday. Song will face Ronald Singer in the 13th House District race, and Herzberg will battle Josh Powell for the 25th District. The candidates hope to replace two Democratic representatives who stepped down last year, which eliminated the Democrats' two-seat majority in the House, resulting in a 54-54 stalemate. Song and Herzberg are both favorites to win their districts, as both the 13th and 25th have historically voted Democrat. The elections will be held this coming April, with the winner serving the remainder of the term through the end of the year. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has extended Medicaid or the Healthy Michigan Plan coverage for over 1 million people. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Congress enacted the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, a policy that required all state Medicaid agencies to continue care coverage for all medical-related assistance programs, even if eligibility changed. Michigan's Medicare case grew to over 700,000 people during the pandemic. In recent time, the MDHHS has worked to make renewal easier for residents on Medicaid, resulting in renewal rates jumping from 12 to 40%. The MDHHS announced that renewal rate for reevaluation in November is just over 65%, with the number of redeterminations increasing to 152,241 based on updated data.
Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley's mother, Jennifer Crumbley, is now being described as cold by investigator Sam Marsben. Crumbley said in an interview on Wednesday that her son is, quote, going to have to suffer, end quote. Ethan Crumbley is currently serving a life sentence after the 4 deaths and 15 injuries of students at Oxford High School back in 2021. Jennifer and James Crumbley are the first parents to be charged for a school shooting in the U.S., with prosecutors stating that the shooting could have been avoided if their son's mental health would have been attended to. And 6 public universities in Michigan, including Michigan Tech University, are collaborating to found the $5 million Michigan University Innovation Capital Fund and the Michigan University Innovation Capital Consortium. The schools are partnering are Michigan State University and their research foundation, Wayne State University, and Western Michigan University. The programs are aimed at helping to support the startup of companies that get their base research from these public universities and highlight their strong potential for growth and transformation. Michigan Tech's Jim Baker, Associate Vice President for the Research Administration, announced that he was pleased to work with U of M on this new funding innovation. In most winters, city crews spend time, effort, and sometimes millions of dollars to remove snow and ice. But this year, not so much. Take Roseville. It usually buys 1,200 tons of salt for winter, but it's only used about 170 tons so far. WCCO's Adam Duxter shares how public works departments are saving while taking advantage of a year without winter.
No snow-covered branches this year. The only powder falling is sawdust.
I can't remember a time where we haven't had this much snow, but this much warmth with it too.
Dan Dalton and Richfield Public Works.
We take the front plow off of it, and we'll take the sander off of it, and then we can use it. We'll hook up that chipper.
Giving their snow plows a new use, and their staff a new project.
We're coming off one of the heaviest snow seasons we've had in a while, and now nothing. This time last year, I think we had done 12 full plows of the city, not even including re-scrapes or going back out and to clean up. We haven't even gone out for one full plow yet.
Instead, Richfield and other public works departments are working ahead while scaling back the budget. Minneapolis Public Works says it's used the time to fill more than 300 potholes, and they could see nearly $1.5 million in savings. And last year, St. Paul's 7 snow emergencies at $600,000 to $800,000 a pop cost millions. They haven't had to call one yet this season.
We expect snow and we expect to plow. Yeah, we're price saving. It's real money.
Roseville Public Works Director Jesse Freihammer says his crews have only plowed about 4 inches of snow this year, And the department has only spent about a third as much as last season.
Yeah, it's different, yeah, it's if you like winter, this wasn't the winter.
Adam Duxter, WCCO News.
Now don't touch that dial. Megan will be right back with your weekend forecast, taking a look at the approaching thaw.
I'm Samantha Brown. For 20 years, I've been traveling the world. And the biggest lesson I've learned is that every destination, from a big city to a small village, has a soul. And there is an effort that goes into cultivating that soul, and that effort comes from the people. This is why I have a love of travel. Whoa! And why these are my places to love.
You can watch it right here today at 5.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Megan Tarcia here with your weather update for today. Starting off looking at NMU's campus, our snow is definitely melting away as we can see. So if you're into those winter sports, unfortunately this is not looking good for you. But going ahead and looking across our UP, starting up in Houghton, it is cloudy and 37 degrees. Over in Ironwood, also cloudy at 40 degrees. Iron Mountain over there is sunny at 49 degrees, pretty warm and toasty. Menominee down at 41 and sunny. Looking over at Escanaba, 38 and also sunny. Manistique is cloudy at a high of 36. Sault Ste. Marie, the same thing, cloudy with 36. And here in beautiful Marquette, it is partly cloudy at a temperature of 45. Our winds are west-southwest at 9 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 29.78 and falling. Looking at tonight's conditions, it will be partly cloudy with a low of 35, and our winds will be west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. Looking to tomorrow, our winds do pick up at 17 miles per hour coming out of the north with a high of 38 and a low of 24. And looking across for our weekend, looking pretty sunny and toasty. On Friday, it is a high of 35 and a low of 23. Saturday, quite the high of 40 with a low dipping down to 25 at night. And Sunday will be a high of 38 and a low of 31. Sending it back over to the desk for our national news stories.
Thank you for that weather update, Megan. Hopefully we can enjoy that bright and beautiful sunny weekend. Jumping back into some national news. A Delaware judge has ruled that Elon Musk is not entitled to a compensation package awarded by the Tesla board of directors, potentially worth $55 billion. Chancellor Kathleen St. Jude McCormick made the landmark ruling 5 years after a shareholder lawsuit claimed that Musk and the board of directors were breaching their duties of the maker of electric vehicles and solar panels, resulting in a waste of company assets and unjust enrichment. Shareholder lawyers argue that the compensation package should be voided as the result of dictations by Musk and false negotiations by independent directors. Musk denied in 2022 that he was the determiner of the compensation package terms or attended any meetings about the plans of the package. However, McCormick determined that since Musk is a controlling shareholder, there was a potential conflict of interest. The United States has determined that the drone strike that killed 3 U.S. service members in Jordan was carried out by the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, a group of Iran-backed militias. The attribution comes after Iran threatened to respond to any U.S. attack on the Islamic Republic. The U.S. is preparing to retaliate with strikes in the Mideast in light of the Sunday drone attack after the deaths of 3 and 40 more troops were injured. National Security spokesman John Kirby stated Wednesday that it is believed that the attack was planned by the Islamic Resistance. President Joe Biden is continuing to weigh retaliation options and added that this will not be a one-off occurrence. Tensions have risen sharply in the Middle East, with Iran targeting Iraq, Pakistan, and Syria. Some experts believe that a further airstrike could result in a shift to a resulting widespread war across the region. And House Republicans are moving towards the impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in a dispute over the migrant crisis at the southern border. As CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry reports, the impeachment hearing comes as the Senate nears a bipartisan deal to tighten border security.
The battle over border security took center stage Tuesday on Capitol Hill.
Failure to secure the border has been so significant, so catastrophic, so egregious that Congress must now use its power to provide accountability.
For House Republicans, accountability means an effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over his handling of the southern border.
The actions and decisions of Secretary Mayorkas have left us with no other option than to proceed with articles of impeachment.
In 2 articles of impeachment, GOP lawmakers charged Mayorkas with willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law and alleged the secretary obstructed congressional oversight and failed to rein in record migrant crossings. Democrats accused the GOP-led panel of having no evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors.
The sham impeachment of Secretary Mayorkas is a baseless political stunt.
A majority in the House is needed to impeach Mayorkas. 2/3 of the Democrat-controlled Senate would need to convict him in order to remove him from office.
The GOP effort follows unprecedented border crossing levels, which topped as many as 10,000 last month.
Not all I can do. Just give me the power.
President Biden said there's nothing more he can do through executive authority and implored Congress to pass a border security deal. In a letter to the committee, Mayorkas defended the Biden administration policies, noting it has removed, returned, or expelled more migrants in 3 years than the Trump administration. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And stay right there. After this short break, Bodie will have your sports update you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
Deep in a tropical rainforest, there is a search for giants.
In the beginning, all you see are the shadows.
Western lowland gorillas, the stuff of legend, and rarely seen in the wild. Today, they've just welcomed a precious new addition to the group. Follow along for a rare look at life in this troop of forest giants.
Wednesday night at 8 on WNMU-TV.
And welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bodie Bates with your Public Eye Sports Recap. Beginning in the NFL, former Michigan Wolverines and Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald has agreed to a 6-year contract with the Seattle Seahawks as he is set to become the successor to Pete Carroll. The move comes after Carroll's release from Seattle and Detroit offensive coordinator Ben Johnson returning to the Motor City. Macdonald was a defensive assistant for the Ravens through the end of the 2020 season when John Harbaugh sent him to brother Jim at the University of Michigan. Macdonald's defense sent the Wolverines to the college football playoff for the first time in his lone year at the school. Macdonald then returned to Baltimore in 2022 as the defensive coordinator and has spent the last 2 years there sending the Ravens to the playoffs both times. Then in NMU in swimming, former NMU swim and dive coach Ann Goldman James will retire after this year. She will finish her coaching career after 48 seasons in a report from Colorado College Athletics. Goodman James was a coach at NMU from 1986 to 1996 and is a member of the NMU Sports Hall of Fame class of 2007. In her time at Northern Michigan, Goodman James was a 2-time Division II National Coach of the Year and a 3-time GLIAC Coach of the Year. She coached 27 national champions and 84 All-Americans in her 10 years at Northern Michigan, and she served as the assistant athletic director for 5 of those years. Ending on the slopes, the NMU Alpine Ski Team will take on the USCSA Mount Lacrosse event this weekend, where NMU sends their men's and women's teams to La Crosse, Wisconsin in a 2-day event, the last before the USCSA Regionals. Both teams attended last year's event, with both teams coming home with victories. Ella Weichert and Ainsley Kirk took home podium spots of 2nd and 3rd in the women's slalom, where Aaron Grislack and Nathan Dehart took 1st and 3rd in the men's slalom. Brad Seaborg was 1st in the men's giant slalom, with Grislack in 3rd. That's your Public Eye Sports Report. I'm Bodie Bates. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that sports update, Bodie. How do you feel about Ben Johnson returning to Detroit for another year?
I think it'll be a good thing for Detroit. It really saves Dan Campbell from scrambling to find someone to replace him, and he's already spent some time with Detroit, so he knows the ropes.
Absolutely. Do you think that increases their playoff chances next year?
I think it's for the Lions next year. We went pretty far this year, and it's definitely our game.
Absolutely. Retooling like that is bound to be at least a strong Super Bowl contender. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Luke Niddle.
And I'm Melissa Santour, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Public Eye News. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube down below or follow us on Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.